What do we really know about the Magi? The census had gone out that was commanded by Caesar for everyone living in the empire was to be taxed. But prophetic history was about to be fulfilled in Bethlehem. In the next few studies, we will begin to investigate the confirmation of the Magi who visited Jesus in his home and not the stable that is so often confused with the truth. Who were they, and what did they believe to encourage that unsubstantiated and dangerous journey of faith? It is an established fact of their history that there were several groups known as the Magi. They were Medes and Persians that had been taught by a man named Zoroaster around the 7th century BC. After Zoroaster died, the Magi split into sects. Some returning to their former religion of nature and sun worship, others grouped into manifestations of magic becoming magicians. It became a pagan religion that is with us today, although they call themselves astrologers and are false seers. The Magi sect that came to pay homage at the birth of Jesus had extensive teaching in the God served by Abraham. They adhered to a reverent understanding of God's message to humanity and the prophecy of the coming Messiah through celestial observations. John MacArthur says they were the kingmakers of that day. The Magi indeed followed a visual light, but it almost certainly not a physical light, rather, it was a spiritual light similar to the Shekinah glory which moved ahead of them, guiding the way to the Christ child. These Magi are identified as astronomers, following the signs in the sky like we read about in Psalm 119, which begins with, "The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. 2 Day after day they pour forth speech, night after night they display knowledge. 3 There is no speech or language where their voice is not heard, for their voice goes out into all the earth, their words to the ends of the world." There likely were more than just 3 of them. Our Bible identifies 3 gifts, not 3 Magi. In those days, 3 wealthy men traversing the wilderness paths would have been easy prey for nomadic bandits, therefore wise people traveled in caravans for safety. These men, however many there were, arrived in Bethlehem when the child was perhaps around 15 months old. If these Magi had been from a group of the idolatrous astrologists, as tradition might lead us to suspect, we would have to question, why were they given such a special privilege of visiting with God's only begotten Son? How did they know where and when to find the child? I submit that they were guided by the glory of God.